like Obono. Body dey rise in my don't know. I say color your brocodo, no go taste locodo. Girl, you dey bossy my bololo. Can make a salute your commando. Girl, if you balance Diego, I give you paper. No go do me Diego, my Maradona. Girl, if I lap your sueto, I'm a farisa. Girl, your back, keep it canedo. And I can follow your Cresco, Cresco. Tunde, dale Cresco. Pay for your waist, and I could pay for your lace, a day for your waist. Tunde, dale Cresco. Pay for your waist, I could pay for your lace, pay for your Girl, if you balance Diego, I give you paper. No go do me Diego, my Maradona. Girl, if I lap your sueto, I'm a farisa. Girl, your back, keep it canedo. And I can follow your Cresco, Cresco.
Make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water, make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water.
Normally, I could keep my cool, but tonight I'm whining. I'ma be in a dangerous mood, can you match my timing? Telling me that you're really about it, what you're hiding. Talk is cheap, so show me that you understand how I like it. Can you blow my mind? Set off my whole body. If I give you my time, can you snatch my soul from it? I don't wanna wait. I'm taking, take me where I ain't been before. Can you blow my mind? Set off my whole body, whole body.
Make me sweat,
water, make me sweat, make me harder, make me lose my breath, make me water. The way we move, skin on the skin, no separation, need no conversation, nah, nah, nah. Skin on the skin, no separation, need no conversation, nah, nah, nah. Skin on the skin, no separation, need no conversation, nah, nah, nah.
I'm going to grab the CLI and we're going to do this. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so we've created a second commit, right? This is how you will understand Git. Git stores an entire snapshot of files on a per commit level. This was a surprise to me. I always assumed each commit only stored the changes made in that commit. Now, type 1 in the chat if that's what you thought too. I assume a lot of you thought the exact same thing, that Git stored deltas, right? Yeah, I mean, look at this. A lot of changes in here. And I think that's completely normal. Anyone that doesn't think that Git stored deltas right away, you're lying to yourself. You're like, yeah, I didn't think that. I always knew that it didn't do that. No, you didn't, okay? Your small brain did not think that. We all thought that because that's totally normal thing to think, okay? While it's true that Git stores entire snapshots, it does have some performance optimization so that your Git directory doesn't get too unbearably large. Git compresses and packs files to store them more efficiently. Git deduplicates files that are the same across commits. Now you're probably thinking, isn't that just delta stores? Hold on, let's find out. Let's just find out, okay? Watch this. We're gonna use git cat file and we're gonna find the hash blob of our titles MD, okay? Watch this, all right? So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go, let's see, I'm gonna go git log one line. I'm gonna grab this that's my last hash, right? There we go. I'm gonna go git cat file. I know there's better ways to find your current hash. Just shut up. This is good enough. This is good for people to understand. Now notice that we have our tree. Also notice we have our parent now. So our parent is our previous commit. So we can actually walk back up the tree if we needed to. I can actually take this and go git cat file dash p, and I can actually cat out the titles file. Previous contents, and this one is now titles. Okay, so now notice that there's two blobs. Okay, there's two blobs here. The first blob is the previous contents, and this one is now titles. Okay, so I can actually take this and go git cat file dash p, and I can actually cat out the title. The first blob is the previous contents. And this one is now titles. Okay, so I can actually take this and go git cat file dash p, and I can actually cat out the titles file. I can actually go to this one and git cat file dash p, and I can cat out this one, and this will give you the contents of that file. But notice this right here. I want you to look at this. Would you look at it for a second? I'm going to jump into my parent, git cat. I'm sure I explained this in a moment in the course, but I like to explain it this way. There's our parent commit. I'm going to grab that tree. Notice that that tree is different than, is a little bit different. Like everything's a little bit different. This is the older version of the tree. Git cat file dash p this. In the course, but I like to explain it this way. There's our parent commit. I'm going to grab that tree. Notice that that tree is different than, is a little bit different. Like everything's a little bit different. This is the older version of the tree. Git cat file dash p this. Look at contents. Look at contents. It stores a unique tree per commit, but that doesn't mean it stores the entire file. It just stores a pointer to the file. So when I say a commit stores the entire history, it stores every reference. I know, kind of mind blown, right? That's why it's a no longer felt as confusing. That was my big kind of like, I don't know, I got really, really confused for quite some time when I first played around with Git, because of that thing. All right, what does it mean that files which were once committed, then deleted, will be forever kept by Git? So technically, it's not forever kept by Git. It's forever kept by your history unless if you prune your history. So you can actually prune your history out of Git, and so that way it would actually clean up any broken references. So it doesn't actually keep, say, deleted commits that don't exist. So git prune-f, yeah, so that will go through. So we will actually do that. I believe in this section, we will actually revive a file that was long lost or a commit that was long lost. It's kind of obvious that it stores snapshot. Otherwise, you need to walk back the tree a lot for files that don't change often. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious in hindsight, but I think the first time you think and you download, the first time you ever use a version control, you think, wow, how could it possibly ever store everything? It must have to like create the repo by walking all these links. That's why Git's so fast, is it keeps your tree, and then when you need to change your directory, it literally just walks that tree and recreates every single file at each one of those points. Right? But the first time you wouldn't understand that, right? Let's see, 100% of working with Git is checkout, branch, add commit, push, force push, rebase, or merge. Yes, exactly. That's why I say well, I mean, it's not 100%. It's like 99, 95. There's log, there's reflog. Reflog is incredibly important. We're going to go over that. There's also like git checkout. So git checkout theirs versus ours. It's very important when you want to be able to just grab an entire change from one side of a merge conflict. Let's take a command apart. Git config. Okay, so here we go. We're going to actually start talking about config now, because the config is actually useful to use and understand, because sometimes you actually want to be able to change ways in which your Git experience changes, or in which it operates. So let's look at this. All right, so let's take a look at the command. So git config is obviously the top level. It's still the older style command. So instead of git config add, it's git config -- add, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Global is where to store it. So it's either global or local. There's some other places you can store in Git, but nobody actually stores things in Git, right? Or in those ones. At least as far as I can tell, I don't know of any use case where you store it in system. I'm sure there is a use case. I've just never personally ran into it. I've always just used, local or global. All right. So global stored in this right here in your home directory git config, whereas local is stored inside your git configure, right? So if I go like this, if I go in here and I go, let's see, what is it? ls, or find in my git folder, what is it? Name, is it config? I think it's config. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Cat config. It'll say, here's the things that are inside of your local repository. So when it creates a config object, it actually takes your globals, then it takes your locals, and kind of combines them one at a time. All right, assignment. You can actually store any old data in your Git configuration. Granted, only certain keys are used by Git, but you can store whatever you want. Yeah, it's just a key value mapping. That's all it is. So you can, I know when I was at Netflix, we actually had a lot of information stored for how we operated over certain stuff. So I used to have a bunch of Netflix stuff on my information. It's a key value mapping. That's all it is. So you can, I know when I was at Netflix, we actually had a lot of information stored for how we operated over certain stuff. So I used to have a bunch of Netflix stuff on my system at one point. Set the following useless key / value pairs in your local Git configuration. So right here. So we're going to do this for our locals. All right. So it's not too hard. So you can go like this: git config add local. So I want to add a key value and I want to do it locally. And then what do we want? Webflix CEO. Okay, the Primogen. Okay. Actually, yeah, we'll call it the Primogen. And then we'll do the CTO as the Laneagen, right? That's the actual CEO of, what's it called? Of boot.dev. And then valuation, mid. It's a mid. It's a good mid valuation. Hey, who here wouldn't want a good mid valuation? Git has a command to view the contents, right? So if you just go list local, it's going to list everything. You can also just cat it out, right? So as we did earlier, you'll see here's our top level section. Here's our keys and values. So a good thing to notice here is that this is a section and this is a key. So when you look at this, you'll notice that this is the section, this is the key. That's important to know because you can actually delete all configuration by section or by section keys. All right, so there you go. You can list local. So if I just go git config list local, it'll just list all my just local only files right here. All right, so let's grab this thing, jump in here, paste it in. Your company position, mid. Isn't that everybody's company position? By the way, configs were one of the more confusing parts for me. Not confusing by how they operate because they're actually exceptionally simple. But when I first started using Git, config was something that I executed once and then I never looked at again. And then whenever I had to touch it, I was just like, shit, I don't want to do this, right? And then I just got all confused by stuff, and then it felt confusing because I refused to just spend the 3 minutes it took to understand. Set it and forget it, exactly. And then you just don't know how certain things operate, and simply because you didn't learn this really simple thing. This is why I did config, because config is one of those extremely useless things you should pretty much never need to know, but that one little moment you need to know it, it's very useful. It's very, very useful. We've used list to see all the configuration values, but get flag is useful for when you're trying to get a single value, right? So we can do get key. Remember, a key is a section.key name. So username, Webflix CEO, there we go. So we can get the web value. So I can go get let's see, what is it? Webflix.valuation, and it'll go and get mid. Nice, right? Doesn't get config username just get get config user.name? Yeah, it also gets it. You can get is the default operation. But it's good to know that because you can also do .set. All right, there you go. Beautiful. We did that one. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, this is looking good. All right, the unset flag is used to remove a configuration value. For example, git unset key. Let's remove the CTO. All right, so we'll go like this. Git config unset, right? Everybody, everybody loves a good unset, right? I really hate the term unset. Which one are we doing? CTO? CTO? Yeah. All right, I just fired lane because you know what? Screw lane. What happened when you tried to unset? Try using unset to remove the section. I forgot to do that one. If you do this, what ends up happening, key does not contain a section, right? So you need both a section and a value or a key name for this thing to be able to be removable when you use unset. You have to do unset section, if I'm not mistaken. I always forget. The entire section, it failed because you have to use key and value, right? You have to use both. You got to use both. Duplicates. Typically,
as I get a little older, I realize life is perspective. And my perspective may differ from yours. I want to say thank you to everyone that's been down with me. All my fans, all my beautiful fans. Anyone who's ever gave me a listen. All my people.
I come from a generation of pain where murder is minor. Rebellious and more jealous, a chip you for designer. Belt buckles and cloud overzealous and prone to violence. Make their own turn, be your will of the will alignment. Residue burn, misstead in the city. Miscommunication to keep homo detector busy. No protection is risky. Desensitized, I vandalize pain. Covered up and camouflage, get used to hearing arsenal rain. Analyze, risk your life, take the charge. Homies, don't fuck your baby mama once you hit the yard. That's culture, 23-hour lockdown. Then somebody called, said your little nephew was shot down. The coach is involved. I done seen niggas do 17, hit the halfway house, get out and get his brains blown out. Looking to buy some weed, car washes played out. New GoFundMe accounts to proceed. A brand new victim, a shatter those dreams. The culture.
I want the hood. Look what I done
vulture. Remote location, witness protection, they go hold ya. The streets got me fucked up. Y'all can miss me. I wanna represent for us. New revolution was up and moving. I'm in Argentina, wiping my tears, full of confusion. Water in between us, another peer's been executed. History repeats again. Make amends, then find a nigga with the same skin to do it. But that's the culture. Crack a bottle. Hard to deal with the pain when you're sober. By tomorrow, we forget the remains. We start over. That's the problem. Our foundation was trained to accept whatever follows. Dehumanized, insensitive, scrutinized the way we live for you and I. Enemy shook my hand, I can promise I'll meet you in a land where no equal is your equal. Never say I ain't told ya. Nah, in a land where hurt people hurt more people. Fuck calling it culture.
I want the hood. Look what I done for you. Look what I done for you. Take the drums out.
Celebrate new life when it come back around. The purpose is in the lessons we learning now. Sacrifice personal gain over everything, just to see the next generation better than ours. I wasn't perfect, the skin I was in that truly suffered. Temptation and patience, everything that the body nurtures. I felt the good, I felt the bad, and I felt the worry. But all in all, my productivity has stayed urgent. Face your fears, always knew that I would make it here. Where the energy is magnified and persevered. Consciousness is synchronized and crystal clear. Euphoria is glorified and made his. Reflecting on my life and what I done. Paid dues, made rules, change out of love. Them same views made schools change curriculums, but didn't change me staring down the barrel of that gun. Should I feel resentful I didn't see my full potential? Should I feel regret about the good that I was into? Everything is everything, this ain't coincidental. I woke up that morning with more heart to give you. As I bleed through the speakers, feel my presence. To my brother, to my kids, I'm in heaven. To my mother, to my sis, I'm in heaven. To my father, to my wife, I'm serious, this is heaven. To my friends, make sure you counting them blessings. To my fans, make sure you make them investments. And to the killer that spared up my demise, I forgive you, just know your soul's in question. I seen the pain in your pupil when that trigger had squeezed. And though you did me gruesome, I was surely relieved. I completed my mission, wasn't ready to leave, but fulfilled my days, my creator was pleased. I can't stress how I love y'all. I don't need to be in flesh just to hug y'all. The memories recollect just because y'all celebrate me with respect. The unity we protect is above all. And Sam, I'll be watching over you. Make sure my kids watch all my interviews. Make sure you live out our dreams we produce. Keep that genius in your brain on the move. And to my neighborhood, let the good prevail. Make sure them babies and the leaders out of jail. Look for salvation when troubles get real. Cause you can't help the world until you help yourself. And I can't blame the hood the day that I was killed. You had to see it, that's the only way to feel. And though my physical won't reap the benefits, the energy they carry on admit still, I want you.
I smell like Rantanny Saint Laurent. She give me ginger when she come round. Mama need that, but she no listen. My mama spicy like Selena's. She speak my lingo. Body language tell me info. You know come with me, I'm fed to you. Liquor dancing, hot scenario. Got me feeling away.
A key value store like Python Dictionary, you aren't allowed to have duplicate keys. Strangely enough, Git does not care. Yes, if you look at my Git config global, list global, and then we grep, what is it? Init, you'll notice that I have in here 3 of them. Okay, I had init default branch master, init default branch main, init default branch master. Yeah, it just takes the last one. My bad on that one. Yes, you can, yes, but if you do that, you have to force push. Right, force pushing is the only way for you to be able to change history for everybody else, and if you do that, you will ruin the whole repo and everybody will know. All right, duplicates, unset all. So unset all is if you want to unset an entire thing. You only need a section then, right? Or sorry, unset all is if you want to delete a multi-existing key value combo. which is kind of odd having an key set combo. It's just kind of weird. So if I do this and I go like this and I add a bunch of CEOs, I should be able to go in there and go git config list local. And now you'll notice we have a whole bunch of CEOs, right? We have 4 of them, me plus Carson, Warren, and Sarah. All right, so if I want to so if I do this and I go like this and I add a bunch of CEOs, I should be able to go. So we have a whole bunch of CEOs, right? We have 4 of them, me plus Carson, Warren, and Sarah. All right, so if I want to undo that, I can remove all CEOs by doing unset all, right? Git config, unset.
I smell like Rantanny Sailor Moon. She give me ginger when she come round. Mama need that, but she no listen. My mama spicy like Salinas. Ma jolie, ma jolie, ma jolie, ma jolie. Oh yeah, tu m'as piqué. Tu m'as piqué. C'est fort ça, ne te convient. Toi et moi, à la vie, à la mort. Ma jolie, oh yeah, tu m'as piqué. C'est fort ça, ne te convient. Non, comme je t'ai fait, la peine ne communique pas.
Web flicks.ceo. There we go. CEO has multiple values. Unset all. Bada bing, bada boom. Git list local. All the CEOs are gone. Anyways, okay. So now that we did all this, pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward stuff. There we go. There we go. Awesome. We're kind of getting through these things. You know, the config section, it can be boring, but whatever, it's fun. You know, you just got to learn these things, right? All right, so there you go. So we're gonna do the next thing, which is going to remove an entire section. Now, WebFlix is a section we have, so if we just go remove section, we can actually remove all of it. So if I go back here and I go, I can add all of this and go git config. If I go git config list local, you'll see that I have a bunch of WebFlix stuff. So if I go git config, what is it? It's remove section, right? It's not unset section. You know how many times I struggle with remove section versus unset and all of that? Man, whenever I've had to do anything like that, I've screwed it all up. It's so easy. There you go. Make sure I really get it out there. You know what I'm talking about? We want to get it out there. And then also you'll notice that if I go like this, cat config, cat git config, you'll notice that it actually removes the section, right? Just a fun little fact. Fun little fact if you're wondering. You know. I mean, bless you, my goodness. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you just edit the file directly. I personally find that I would just rather jump in here and edit this often than doing all that other crap. To be real, it's just much easier because this other thing is it's just really hard. You know, it's just really, really annoying. All right, locations. There's really only 2 locations that you should really be concerned about. I've actually never used a work tree specific location or a system location. I've really only done global and local. I find location. Anyways, in my experience, 99% of the time you'll be using global to set things. Like your username and email. The other 9% of the time you'll be using local to set project specific configuration. The last 1% of the time you might need to futz around with system and work tree configuration, but it's extremely rare. Yeah, I've never personally had to do it. I just know that it's been done on my system. So there you go. Here's the set of what's it called, ordering. So if you have a work tree specific, it's going to be the most specific. Therefore, that's going to be the one that gets presented. Then local, then global, then system. System is like it's kind of like, just think about it like JavaScript and merging arrays, right? System is for all users, correct. Global is not global. It's not a global list, if that makes sense. It's a local global. You know what I mean? It's not a global, it's a local global. All right, suppose you set username to prime at the system level, username lane at the global level, and username TJ at the local level. Which value will you actually get? TJ, even though TJ does stream, but he sucks, okay? Just so you know. Yeah, global's the user. It really should be repo user system. For me, that seems much easier to understand. TJ catching strays. TJ's always catching strays, okay? Shots furried. All right, let's see. Which is stored at the home directory? That'd be global. All right, so what is a branch? So now we're going to get on to branching. So a git branch.
rich nigga staircase. No fly zone, please stay the fuck out my airspace. Niggas say things behind back, shit they wouldn't dare say. Know it's on sight when I see you, I'm working at Squarespace.
Yeah, top of the morning, I know that you thought I was dormant. Woke up early from shots that was swarming. A block from the ops, now the cops in the orbit. Cause somebody got popped, now they knocking on doors, trying to find an informant. But I ain't seen Nathan, I'm minding my business. As God is my witness, the weapon gon' prosper that's forming against me. Nigga, I'm starving immensely. Know when I'm done with these songs, you gon' miss me. John Moran, I'm on my grizzly. You niggas just cuz, but no, not the ones in the big leagues. After the fall off, I promise I'm coming and selling out Wrigley's. Nigga, I'm just a product of poverty, full of narcotics to profit off quickly. My family tree got a history of users that struggle with demons, not really the hustler instincts. Therefore, often my pockets was empty. So while some of my partner was serving up rocks on the corners of project assemblies, me, I was starting to envy. Wanna be on the top where it's plenty. Wanna be in a spotlight where every bitch want me like Rihanna dropping new Fenty. What I see in the sky, the villas of ceiling can't reach up too high evidently. Nah, shit, I can't reach up too high evidently. Never seen no one driving a Bentley. I can't be out here mopping up Wendy's. My life is all I have. My rhymes, my pen, my pad. And I done made it out the struggle, don't judge me. What you saying now won't budge me. Cause where I come from, so often people you grow with laying in a coffin. But I done made it through the pain and strife. Is my time now, my world, my life, my life.
Say what? The stuff that I seen got me traumatized. I let the K go when Johnny died. Swinging that motherfucker side to side. We don't participate, ain't with that squashy shit. All we believe in is homicide. I got a good heart, so I send teddy bears every time we make they mamas cry. I pray that my past ain't ahead of me. 21. When I'm in love, I love heavily. Oh God. If you betray me, you dead to me. 21. I disrespect you respectfully. Straight up. I got some partners who left this earth. Maybe the pain made it better. Oh God. Just know that they secrets is kept with me. Oh God. I feel like the streets is in debt with me. Straight up. I gave my heart away to all the dog hoes, cause that's who accepted me. 21. I blame my pops for that shit, cause if he didn't fail, he could've corrected me. 21. Give all the props to my mama, cause no matter what, she always protected me. Oh God. I promise you it ain't no checking me. Oh God. Jump in the water, get wet with me. 21. 21. You on my money or wanna have sex with me? Can't let the odds of the law get the best of me. I get the answer and you get the test of me. I see chicken, you niggas is breasting me. Planted a seed, but it ain't a sesame. Can't let you niggas or bitches grow next to me.
My life is all I have. My rhymes, my pen, my pad. And I done made it out the struggle, don't judge me. What you saying now won't budge me. Cause where I come from, so often people you grow with laying in a coffin. But I done made it through the pain and strife. Is my time now, my world, my life, my life.
Branch allows you to keep track of different changes separately. For example, let's say you have a big web project and you want to experiment with changing the color scheme. Instead of changing the entire project directly as of right now on our master branch, you can create a new branch called color scheme and work on that branch. And when you're done, if you like the changes, you can merge color scheme back into the master branch and keep the changes. If you don't like the changes, you can simply delete color scheme branch and go back to master. So underneath the hood, this is what's actually happening. Look at this beautiful little graphic. Do you like that graphic? It's beautiful, huh? It's beautiful. Does this make sense? So here's a big thing that you need to understand. Tips. Just the tips. The tips is the commit that is the latest one on whatever branch you're looking at. Okay, so you need to know your tips, and then eventually they should merge back at some point, because that's how branches work. They should be branched off of some they call it the merge base. This would be called the merge base. We don't have that as part of this graphic, so this is called the merge base, or the most common ancestor is one right here. And so this is for when you merge, it finds this thing right here and then merges things together. Merge tips, use rebase. Yeah, exactly. So just so you know, these are all commits. Branches, like a branch is literally a pointer to a commit. That's it. Orphaned branches are wild. Yeah, I don't even know how to create, like, honestly, I don't even really know how to create an orphaned branch. It's exceptionally difficult to create an orphaned branch. It's just not something you do, on purpose. All right, so let's see. Because a branch is just a pointer to a commit, they are lightweight and cheap. This is why when people say branches are really cheap, it's because it's just a pointer. That's it. Which branch you're currently running? Git branch. There we go. So I can go like this, git branch, and you can see I'm currently on master. Fantastic. Remember, you should be on master because we set initial default branch to master at the start of this course. Yeah. So there we go. Fantastic. And we're going to do that, and we're going to execute this thing. Bada bing, bada boom, confetti, feeling good, confettied out of my mind. All right, default branch. We've been using Git's default master branch. Interestingly, GitHub, a website where you can remotely store Git projects, recently changed its default branch to master to main. As a general rule, I recommend using main as your default branch to work if you work primarily with GitHub. Yeah, because if you don't, you have to go in to every single. It's just a pain in the ass, right? That's all it is. If you don't do that, you have to actually go into your projects and you have to set it as whatever other branch you're using as the default, or else it will still use main as the default, and then you will get cloned down a repo, and then main will be like this empty branch, and then you have to undo all of it. There you go. GitLab has main too, and I think newer versions of Git has main as default too. I'm not sure if newer versions of Git has that as default. Like if I go like this, let's see, git config, remove section, oh, don't do that. Unset all, let's see, what is it? It is a init default branch. There we go. And so if I go git config list, there we go. You'll notice that I still have this one. Did I not do this correct? Oh, is it lower B? Oh, is it really lower B? Is it really lower B branch? Nah, that can't be right, right? Why are you still here? Why? ¿Por qué? And Maria. Why are you still here? Oh, it's because I'm not doing, oh, gosh, I'm so stupid. Globalist. There we go. I've undid my global list. This is very important to undo your global list. There we go. List. There you go. It's gone. You can see that it's gone. So if I go back here and go like this, make dir testes and cd into testes, we'll go in here and we'll go like this, get init, using master, the name of this initial branch. This is the default branch name, subject to change. To configure the initial branch name, do this right here, initial branch name. Names commonly chosen instead of master are main, trunk, development. I've seen dev. I like using trunk just to mess with people. Okay. I think it's funny. Your Git might be old. It could be old. I'm on 245. It's pretty new. Git latest version 246. Yeah, I'm only off by a little bit. I using trunk just to feel something. Exactly. There you go. Okay, so now that we're here, there we go. All right, so here we go. All right, how to rename a branch. So you go git branch M for rename, right? Classic M for rename. Am I right? Old name, new name. All right, we're gonna set our initial branch to main, and then we're gonna rename our branch. All right, here we go. Let's just go back in here and git branch M master main, git config add global S. We can actually even do it by the way, you can also do it at a local level. So I can go init default branch. What the hell is the thing called? It's called main. So there we go. So I can actually do this at a local level. So now only this repo has the default branch as main, whereas all my other ones will still have whatever my global version is. It's very good to know how to use locals and globals. It can be very useful. I've had to do a lot of things where I have to goof around with different versions. All right, there we go. Wasn't it a lowercase b? I think the lowercase b was an accident. I want to say it was an accident. Anyways, there we go. I'm going to copy this one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Dang it. So it's going to, my thing requires me to be a globalist. I'm now a globalist. I am now officially a globalist. Globalism. All right. Really just Alex Jonesing on this thing. All right, there we go. Visualizing branches. Throughout the
I smell like Ransom, Saint Laurent. She give me ginger when she come round. My money talk, but she no listen. My mama spicy like Selena's. She speak my lingo. Body language tell me info. You know come with me, I'm fed to you. Liquor dancing, hot scenario. Got me feel the way, where you wine on me, body wrapped in Chanel, angel right in my palm. Even when I'm away, got a craving for some. That's my baby, my chérie,
I smell like Ransom, Saint Laurent. She give me ginger when she come round. My money talk, but she no listen. My mama spicy like Selena's. Toi et moi, à la vie, à la mort, ma jolie, on regarde, tu m'as piqué. C'est força, notre combine, non comme je te fala, pas nos comunica. Bonita, bonita, me aproveita, antes que mudar, ninguém sabe o que mais eu posso ter.
She speak my lingo. Body language tell me info. Text me, said she on her way. Let her friends participate. Lil' mama got energy. She want me come slay all day. Got me feel the way, where you wine on me, body wrapped in Chanel, angel right in my palm. Even when I'm away, got a craving for some. That's my baby, my chérie, I smell like Ransom, Saint Laurent. She give me ginger when she come round. My money talk, but she no listen. My mama spicy like Selena's.
Ma jolie, ma jolie, ma jolie, ma jolie, on regarde, tu m'as piqué. Tu m'as piqué. C'est força, notre combine. Toi et moi, à la vie, à la mort, ma jolie, on regarde, tu m'as piqué. C'est força, notre combine. Non comme je te fala, pas nos comunica.
rest of this course will be visualizing branches. By the way, this is how Git does it as well. So if you do not know, if you go man git commit, I believe they have it in commit. No, rebase. Yeah, you'll notice that they effectively do this. So I tried to copy.
cosa becro Apollo. Gamin décalé, skélé, silvé titale. Chéri qui s'est carré, ça vend de la bœuf depuis tout à l'heure. Psyché une pitale, 14 à fait titale. C'est là qui te fait planer, devant le temps le wall toute l'année. Ça pique grave de chibeux, salade coco sous la putain. Ça vend dans ma cité, ça l'en veut de la c'est pour si peu. Ça pique grave de chibeux, salade coco sous la putain. Salope tu veux me quitter, sous whisky j'oublie me quitter. Ça pique grave de chibeux, salade coco sous la putain. Ça vend dans ma cité, ça l'en veut de la c'est pour si peu. Ça pique grave de chibeux, salade coco sous la putain. Salope tu veux me quitter, sous whisky j'oublie me quitter.
People always trying to get involved. I feel like I'm done and don't know where to run. People always trying to take a bite out of my mind. If you need a fight, maybe we could start. I feel I might just be coming undone. Tell me why you can't be found. It's so unreasonable. I know you.
A effective version, so that way it's easy to understand, easy to see. Okay, sounds good. Yeah. All right, let's see. This means a branch called main with 3 commits. A C is the most recent commit. As you can see, A to B to C, branch. There you go. So this one right here means A. It splits off from A, and there's D and E on something called other branch, and B and C on main. So they are diverging branches with the merge base of A.
Before this gets out of hand, no more distance, let's just dance.
All right, everyone get that? I'm going to be using that term a lot. I tried to copy a effective version. So that way it's easy to understand, easy to see. Okay.
The graph becomes more difficult to read when all the branches are merged. This is where rebasing as a useful alternative to a cleaner graph. Rebasing takes the commits from a branch and places them onto another branch. This changes the tree structure by moving the commits and their changes into the target branch. When comparing merging and rebasing, rebasing provides a cleaner history, a more readable graph, but it's tougher to resolve conflicts. Merging preserves history, is better.
If you want to become a programmer, you have to learn this. Learn how to collaborate on other projects. That's why First Contributions is an awesome open source project. It teaches you the basic fundamentals of how it...
Sounds good? Yeah. All right, let's see. This means a branch called main with 3 commits. A C is the most recent commit. As you can see, A to B to C, branch. There you go. So this one right here means A. It splits off from A, and there's D and E on something called other branch, and B and C on main. So they are diverging branches with the merge base of A. All right, everyone get that? I'm going to be using that term a lot, merge base. Answer the questions based on the following diagram. Which commits are part of Lane's branch? None, because he's a CEO and doesn't work these days. But it's going to be GH, this one. Bam, got it. Man, I'm so good. I'm a globalist. All right, there we go. All right, throughout the rest of this course, I already answered this one. Which are part of the commits of main? It's going to be A, B, C, D. Got it. First try. All right, visualizing branches. Oh, we're doing it again. Again, dang, we're going to do Prime's branch, huh? Prime's branch is EFA. Or AEF, EFA. Man, I didn't even get close. You should already be on the main branch, your default branch, and you can always check with Git branch. I wonder if there's a way to name your default branch something that would break your system. Can you do RMRF? See, 2 ways to create a branch, right? Git branch, new branch name. This creates a branch.
If I wasn't rapping, bitch, I might just be the president. Please, with the begging us, you're dwindling your relevance. We know your shit is dropping. We ain't copping what you selling us. Bitch, you was good in school. Why you hiding your intelligence? I remember you was getting A's. Now you failing us. Playing hard for the white boy that can't tell a dip. Caught a lot of bodies, so my closet, it got skeletons. Don't believe me, call your favorite rapper for the evidence. Rolls Royce, please don't sell these rappers no more colorness. They unoriginal. And plus, I know they don't be budgeting. Coming, boy, I'm sunning them.
It's called new branch. The thing is, I rarely use this command. Yeah, I rarely use this command. Reason being is that whenever I create a branch, I also want to switch to that branch, right? So I typically use git checkout B just because that, I mean, I guess I am a boomer. It's hard for me to break that habit, but the newer ones is git switch C. So I'm trying to show you kids, yeah, youngins, to use git switch C. All right, that's the one you want to do. All right, I'm just so used to git checkout B. I can't help it. So if I use git checkout B, sorry, I'm old. My fossils are creaking. You get the idea, okay? So what this does, by the way, whenever you create a branch, it takes your current location, and that's where it points to. All right? So when I do this, my new branch, that will actually create into a new location. It'll have the exact same SHA or the exact same commit. Yeah, it's your head location. So it's good to know that because a lot of times that's kind of like one of those confusing jumps people have to make. Oh yeah, hold on, itchy. There you go. All right, anyways, here we go. Create and switch one called add classic. So let's just do that right now. There we go. I've
When you see your nigga on the boulevard, roll your window down, holler from afar. If you spot a fair nigga like your car, it's a real good chance he's a dog.
created add classics. Let's see.
See, I really been popping my shit on a whole nother level. You playing, get sent to the devil. These bitches been on me, I swear they keep calling my phone. I'm like, hold on, let me check the schedule. If she get time of day, then I had a good place, so I'm back at the spot. She getting beat like a press. These niggas be soft on the bitch, but turned up off a perk. Boy, I'm solid and stand on whatever. See, I really been popping my shit on a whole nother level. You playing, get sent to the devil. These bitches been on me, I swear they keep calling my phone. I'm like, hold on, let me check the schedule. If she get time of day, then I had a good place, so I'm back at the spot. She getting beat like a press. These niggas be soft on the bitch, but turned up off a perk. Boy, I'm solid and stand on whatever. Hey, bitch, I'm popping like corn on the kettle. A lame nigga rich from my chain, he get hit with this metal. And first shit, we on the new levels. I put triple D on my back and my foot on the pedal. I'm chasing Shabata the cheddar. I really know Mexican start. I call all of them help. We up, you can go check the record. Cause lately I really been ballin'. I'm feeling like Steph. Sit back, let me teach you a lesson. You run up on big extra plug and get hit with this web. Want the Glock, the AR, or the Wesson. But I still beat your bitch ass like it's Marvel Attack. Teach her spray every day to the reverend. She know that I'm out on my last and her son been a fella. Think he sweet, put a hole in his melon. And I probably beat the little case cause we don't do no telling. To the lost, boy, I'm something like hell. These niggas be hooping and hollering, boy, fuck how they yelling. We better come check out my section. Taliban shit, but you know it's 600, I'm ready. In my hood, boy, I'm something like a legend. You can't join the gang if you ain't known for shooting the step. Where he play, that's the same place we left him. Was being too extra. I hate that the gang had I really been popping my shit on a whole nother level. You playing, get sent to the devil. These bitches been on me, I swear they keep calling my phone. I'm like, hold on, let me check the schedule. If she get time of day, then I had a good place, so I'm back at the spot. She getting beat like a press. These niggas be soft on the bitch, but turned up off a perk. Boy, I'm solid and stand on whatever. See, I really been popping my shit on a whole nother level. You playing, get sent to the devil. These bitches been on me, I swear they keep calling my phone. I'm like, hold on, let me check the schedule. If she get time of day, then I had a good place, so I'm back at the spot. She getting beat like a press. These niggas be soft on the bitch, but turned up off a perk. Boy, I'm solid and stand on whatever.
See. And then let's see, run get branch to verify. So I can go get branch, and you can see that I'm on add classics, get that. And if I go get log, you'll see that I have A, B, and C. And if I go get log main, you'll see A, B, and C. The same thing. They're the same. Same thing. I believe if I even go like this, find, get, what is it? Ref, something like that, right? You can actually see this right here. So you can see it right here. So if I go right here and I go cat. that, you'll see it's pointed to this thing. And if I cat main, it's pointed to the same thing. There you go. Makes life easy for you to know these things. Learning Git sucked. Yeah, learning Git, well, it doesn't, it's just time consuming. It's a bunch of little things that you just have to learn. All right, switching branches. We talked about using git switch to change branches. There's another command you'll certainly run into, and it's been around for a long time, and older developers using git checkout. Okay, calling us older developers hurts a little bit. Me in the past. Git switch is a newer command that is meant to be more intuitive and user-friendly. It probably is more user-friendly because git checkout is kind of like this grab bag, because you can also like check out sides of a merge conflict. There's a lot of weird stuff. Shows the history. Git, okay? Git developers of a certain generation, and that's me also. It's a recommended to use git switch over git checkout for simply switching branches. That's what they say. Let's switch to a branch called prime. All right, there we go. The new way, the old way. Right, there you go. For this course, we'll stick with git switch, right? There we go. All right, switch to branch main, run git branch, make sure we're on there, switch back to classics, run this one, run this. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Yo, dog, I'm happy for you, or congratulations, or I'm sorry. There we go, we passed. I'm not gonna switch around, but you get the idea. It's just git switch without the -C for create. That's all. All right, up-leveling our abilities. We'll use the add classics branch to add a commit to the project without affecting the main branch. So we're gonna actually create the D here. In other words, add classics branch will have all the commits from main plus a new one. All right. All right, so we're gonna switch that to classics. We're gonna create a new file called classics CSV. And there we go. So I'm gonna go The Princess Bride. I actually watch this every Christmas. It's literally the greatest movie of all time. Here we go. All right, so we have this. We're gonna stage and commit the file. The commit message should start with D. All right, run commit. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do that one. Git add this. Git commit dash D is great. There we go. And you should be able to see the commits with the branch with git log. We don't need to do that. Let's copy that bad boy, paste it in, make it happen. Bam, 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 bam. Got it. We're all in the good stuff. So let's go over here. So we're about ready to start getting into some good stuff. Log flags. As you know, git log shows the history of your commits in your repo. There are a few flags you'd like to know. Short full, no. I like to, I don't really use decorate. Decorate typically works well if you want to see where things are coming from. So you can do git log decorate full if you want to see a bunch of stuff. One line's the one I use a lot. Okay, this is the one I always use because if I go git log, you get like all this crap. But if I go git log one line, you get that. That just feels nicer, right? That's the one I want. What the hell is decorate? Well, this is decorated right now. And the reason why it's decorated, if I'm not mistaken, if I go no pager, no pager, no. Okay, there we go. All right, it's not doing it. Effectively decorates default version. I thought there's a way. What's the way? Hold on. Let me go like this. One line T out. There you go. So there you go. That took it off. So if you pipe it to another program, this is kind of like a non-decorated one. A decorated one right here shows where you're pointing at. So head, which is also pointing to add classics, main is on C. That's what decorate does. So git log decorate equals no will not tell you anything about where stuff is at. Does that make sense? And then you can also use git log. Remember how I talked about graph? Graph is pretty cool. Graph one line. So you can kind of see that I'm just going, it's just all one line right now. There's no change right now, but we'll get to the point where we start seeing some changes. Don't worry, we'll see it. We'll see it. There we go. Fantastic. I think that's all I need to do. Run git log with full decoration. We already did all that. Explain the decorations. Let's go. We got it. We got the confetti. We're confettied out of our mind. I'm level 7, by the way. You guys won't even understand what it's like. Git propaganda hour? Absolutely. Kung Fu? No, Git Fu. Remember, Git stores all the information in files in the Git subdirectory at the root of your project. Even information about branches, the heads, or tips of the branches are stored in Git refs heads. If you cat one of the files in that directory, it should be able to see the commit that the hashes points to, which we already did. Use find and cat to find the commit hash of your main branch. We already did that one. What is stored in Git refs head? One file each for a commit. What is in there? I forget. Let's see. It is going to be Git refs heads is going to be each one of the branch names. One file for each branch containing the commit hash of that branch points to that one. Let's go. Let's go. I'm a genius. Nope, we're not going to watch this. Branching in Git is practically free, and it really is kind of the core operation when using Git. But at some point, you have to get that work from a branch back into the main line. And this is where merging comes into play. Now, a typical workflow for pretty much every dev looks like this. First, we need to update our repository to the latest code. This is typically done through git fetch or git pull. We'll cover those more later. You branch off the main branch and give it a name that kind of represents what you're working on. New feature A. You fix the bug, create the feature, update the docs, and create your one or more commits on that branch. Then finally, you merge those changes back from your branch into the main line. Typically, when you're at a company, this will involve some sort of pull request on GitHub, on Stash, on GitLab, but conceptually, it's no different than executing git merge on the command line. We are merging two branches together with diverging history. Look at this thing right here. The diverging history simply means that main branch, the one we branched off of at point A. We are merging two branches together with diverging history. Look at this thing right here. The diverging history simply means that main branch, the one we branched off of at point A, has commits, and we, some branch, have added more commits. Main has B and C, our branch, some branch, has D and E. That means when we merge, we need to be able to create a new commit that represents these two diverging histories as one. This is called a merge commit, and it's the only commit with two parents. The process for a merge commit looks like this. First, we need to find the merge base. The merge base, also called the best common ancestor, is the nearest ancestor that is in common to both branches, and in this case, that would be A. We then play main branch's commits into a new commit, and then we play some branch into that same commit. When all the changes are in that new commit, we commit it to main, and in this case, we call it F, and we give it two parents, one parent pointing to C from the main branch and the other parent pointing to E from some branch. If you use git log, you will actually be able to see the diverging from A, the two diverging commits, and then the coming back together in F. Practically free, and it really is kind of the core operator. Later, you bring A. You do the main line changes without affecting your or your team's primary branch. However, once you're happy with your changes, you'll want to merge them back into your main branch so that they make their way into the final product. All right, so here's the visual. Look at this beautiful thing. And then notice this. This right here is called a merge commit. It's very important to understand merge commits, because if you don't understand why rebase is good. So merge commit, and especially when you look at a log, we'll look at the log here shortly, but it will actually show you why or how these things kind of exist and why they're unique and why it allows for log graph to be very nice. So hold on, let's see what the assignment is just to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. First, switch back to main. Next, our contents file is eerily empty. Yep, update it to contain this. All right, there we go. Now yep, and then we'll content this. Okay, perfect. Let's go. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go like this. We're gonna git check out main. Oh wait, no wait. Git switch add classics. Git switch main. Don't use checkout. We don't use checkout. We're not using check it out. We're not doing it. All right, and then update this file right here. Don't you do it. Git status. It's nice. It's not magit. All right, there we go. So commit, let's see, commit the changes with a message starting with E. All right, so let's commit these changes. Git add this, git commit E. Let's see, contents, such contents with a new line at the end. Why? I don't know why. There we go. So now we have this one. We have ABCE, ABCE, and ABCD. Awesome. So we should be able to do the whole git log graph all. Look at this nice bad boy. Look at that. Look at how graph does that. It's nicer in one. It's nicer in one line, honestly. One line. You can see right here. So there's add classics. It's been branched off at that point. And here's this guy. So it's a nice way to look at all your stuff. There you go. Why not use checkout? It's just older. Switch is the one, right? All right, there you go. Fantastic, right? So I should be able to just do that. Everything should be good. There we go. Confettied out of my mind. All right, merge commits. We are merging two. All right, there you go. Fantastic. Why not use checkout? It's just older. Switch is the one, right? Our branch. We then the main branch and the other parent pointing to E from some branch. If you use git log, you will actually be able to see the diverging from A, most common ancestor, or the merge base. Then it merges main and this one together to make one super commit, adds that to the front of the branch that you're on, and then has two parents, which is where you came from. Does that make sense? So if we were to merge Vim chats only into main while you using this, we would find the merge base or the best common ancestor, in this case, A, replays those two commits, bam, creates a special commit called a merge commit, and then this thing has two parents. There you go. Fantastic, right? So in our current Webflix history, we have this. We have main ABCE, and we have add classics, which is D. So when we merge, we should have this we should have an F commit that's going to be this little merge branch right here. So let's just do that now. Git merge add classics. I assume that's what we're supposed to do, and we wanted to go F. So that That way we can denote it. There we go. We're going to write that, and we just did it. Perfect, right? So now if I do this whole one-line decorate graph parents business, hell yeah, that's a lot of stuff. You can see right here, classics branched, and then came back together. And you can see right here that this is a merge base because it has 2 parents. Or not a merge base, sorry. Why did I say merge base? It's not, it's a merge commit because it has 2 parents. Never worked with 2 parents, children. Yeah, most children in Git do not have 2 parents. This one does. So there you go. This, you can actually watch it because this one points to this commit. This one points to that commit. They both point to the same merge base. There you go. Now that everybody knows, feels good, right? A lot of Arch users out there confused about merge commits. All right, so logging has to be one of the best tools in the Git belt because Git has extensive logging and observability. If you need to recover work, visually understand how you got to this point, commits along the way, messages that you have created, where the branches and tags are, including in your repository, your remote repository, and of course all the tags that you currently have, and much more, then logging has it. Let's break down a quick command right here. Git log, one line, graph, decorate, parents. Now this looks like a lot of options, but actually it'll make a lot of sense once you understand what those options mean. One line will give you a condensed view of your history. First off, the hashes are shortened to 7 characters, which is the minimum amount Git requires for you to specify a hash. Also, you get the commit message. This gives you a nice quick view so you can see what happened in the past. Graph will draw all the little lines so you can see exactly how your commits have diverged and come back together through merges. Decorate will give you the branch and tag information. This can be nice to see how far you've strayed away from a branch or where a previous branch might be. Parents will give you the parent commit upon every other commit. This can be very nice for merge commits because you can see where the 2 parents came from to create the merge commit. Go ahead, give it a try yourself. Logging has to be one has to be one of the best tools in the Git belt because Git has extensive logging and observability. If you need to recover work, visual parents. Now this looks like a minimum amount Git so you can see how your commits have diverged and come back together through merges. Decorate will give you the branch and tag information. This can be nice to see how far you've strayed away from a branch or where a previous branch might be. Parents will give you the parent commit upon every other commit. This can be very nice for merge commits because you can see where the 2 parents came from to create the merge commit. Go ahead, give it a try yourself. Oh, we already did this. I already kind of explained this beautiful niceness right here. Each asterisk represents a commit in the repository. We actually already talked about all this. This is fantastic. Why does the first line show 3 commit hashes? because it's the first commit in the history? No, because it's a merge commit with 3 parent commits. No, because it's a merge commit. It shows its own hash and the hash of both of its parents. We already talked about that. I think that makes sense, right? Wait, where did my log go? Oh, I didn't print out the log. There you go. You can see these are the commits right here. These are the lines. This is its SHA, and then its parent SHA. See, that's parent, 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 its commit SHA, parent, that's its commit SHA. This is its parent, it's the parent, or the SHA, its parent, the SHA. This is Batman right here. No parents. And we have add classics, which is D. So when we merge, we should have this we should have an F commit that's going to be this little merge branch right here. So let's just do that now. Git merge add classics. I assume that's what we're supposed to do. And we wanted to go F. Ignore is really, personally, I think it's re-enabled. All that, and then I do the merging. Is it a good practice? We can find things. So I can go like this. Git, I can go find git 2 commits right here. The merge base is this. If the tip of that branch is the merge base, looking man right here. No parents. Yeah, you can see these are the commits right here. These are the lines. This is its SHA, and then its parent SHA. See, that's parent, 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 its commit SHA, parent. That's its commit SHA. This is its parent. It's the parent, or the SHA. Its parent, the SHA. This is Batman right here. No parents. Beautiful ASCII. Beautiful ASCII. There we go. All right, merge logs. Let's see. You can. Logging has to be one of the best tools.
Cold world. Yeah. Let me take y'all back, man. As I do so well. Wasn't nothing like that. Man, it wasn't nothing like that first time. She was in my math class. Long hair, brown skin with the fat ass. Sat beside me, used to laugh, had mad jokes. The teacher always got mad, so we passed notes. It started off so innocent. She had a vibe and a nigga started digging it. I was a young and straight crushing, trying to play this shit cool. But a nigga couldn't wait to get to school. Cause when I seen them thighs on her, and them hips on her, and them lips on her, got me daydreaming, man, what? I'm thinking how she rides on it, if she sits on it, if she licks on it, make it hard for me to stand up. As time goes by, attractions getting deeper. Wet dreaming, thinking that I'm smashing, but I'm sleeping. I want it bad, and I ain't never been obsessed before. She wrote a note that said, you ever had sex before? Damn, and I ain't never did this before, no. 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 told the truth, I knew that I get played out, son. Hadn't been in pussy since the day I came out one, but she don't know that, so she done wrote back and told me, oh, you a pro, homie? Well, I want you to show me. My mama gone for the weekend, so Saturday, baby, we can get the freakin'. That's when my heart start racing and my body starts sweating, baby, you done woke my little man up. I'm thinking how that body look naked when you laying on the bed. Teacher, please don't make me stand up. I wrote back like, yeah, baby, sound like a plan. Still tryna play it cool, sound like the man, but I was scared to death, my nigga, my stomach turned. Talking shit, knowing damn well I was a virgin. Fuck, and I ain't never did this before, no. 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 I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this. You know that feeling when you know you finna bone for the first time. I'm hoping that she won't notice it's my first time. I'm hoping that my shit is big enough to fuck with. And most of all, I'm praying God don't let me bust quick. I'm watching pornos trying to see just how to stroke right. Practice putting condoms on, how it go right. I'm in a crib now, nigga, palm sweating, with a pocket full of rubbers and an erection. That's when my hands start touching and her face start blushing, and the nigga roll over on top. And then she get my pants unbuckled and her hands start rubbing on me. Ooh, girl, don't stop. It's time for action. Pull out the condoms real smooth, yeah, just how I practice. But right before I put it in, she flinched and grabbed it and said, I wanna get something off my mental. I can tell you a pro, but baby, be gentle, cause I ain't never did this before, no. And 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 I ain't never did this before, no. I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. Cold world. Yeah. Let me take y'all back, man. As I do so well. Wasn't nothing like that. Man, it wasn't nothing like that first time. She was in my math class. Long hair, brown skin with the fat ass. Sat beside me, used to laugh, had mad jokes. The teacher always got mad, so we passed notes. It started off so innocent. She had a vibe and a nigga started digging it. I was a young and straight crushing, trying to play this shit cool. But a nigga couldn't wait to get to school. Cause when I seen them thighs on her, and them hips on her, and them lips on her, got me daydreaming, man, what? I'm thinking how she rides on it, if she sits on it, if she licks on it, make it hard for me to stand up. As time goes by, attractions getting deeper. Wet dreaming, thinking that I'm smashing, but I'm sleeping. I want it bad, and I ain't never been obsessed before. She wrote a note that said, you ever had sex before? Damn, and I ain't never did this before, no. 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 I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this. I wrote back and said, of course I had sex before, knowing I was frontin'. I said I'm like a pro, baby, knowing I was stuntin'. But if I told the truth, I knew that I get played out, son. Hadn't been in pussy since the day I came out one, but she don't know that, so she done wrote back and told me, oh, you a pro, homie? Well, I want you to show me. My mama gone for the weekend, so Saturday, baby, we can get the freakin'. That's when my heart start racing and my body start sweating, baby, you done woke my little man up. I'm thinking how that body look naked when you laying on the bed. Teacher, please don't make me stand up. I wrote back like, yeah, baby, sound like a plan. Still trying to play it cool, sound like the man. But I was scared to death, my nigga, my stomach turned. Talking shit, knowing damn well I was a virgin. Fuck, and I ain't never did this before, no. 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 I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this. You know that feeling when you know you finna my first time. I'm hoping that my shit is big enough to fuck with. And most of all, I'm praying God don't let me bust quick. I'm watching pornos trying to see just how to stroke ride. Practice putting condoms on, how it go right. I'm in a crib now, nigga, palm sweating. With a pocket full of rubbers and an erection. That's when my hands start touching and her face start blushing. And a nigga roll over on top. And then she get my pants unbuckled and her hands start rubbing on me. Ooh, girl, don't stop. It's time for action. Pull out the condoms real smooth, yeah, just how I practice. But right before I put it in, she flinched and grabbed it and said, I wanna get something off my mental. I can tell you a pro, but baby, be gentle, cause I ain't ever did this before, no. And I ain't ever did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no.
Output your git log, decorate graph. Parents, aside from the hashes, look something like this. We already talked, well, we already did this. We just got to answer new questions. Why is the weird diagram, e.g. all these things? Whoopsies, I didn't mean to click that. It's what happens to your brain on Arch Linux after 10 years. That's not what I wanted to do. It demonstrates the branching structure. 3 commits were merged into the main. No, it demonstrates adding classics was merged into main. Boom. That's what it demonstrates. It's beautiful. I want to make sure you guys get it. All right, a fast forward merge. Does everybody, who knows what a fast forward merge is? I'm curious. Type 0 if you don't know what it is. I'm actually curious about this. Well, a lot of zeros. Dang. Dang, that's a lot of zeros. I'm shook. I'm shooking right now, okay? The simplest type of merge is a fast forward merge. Let's say we start with this one, main branch, and then delete VS Code. Now, we could run this on main, git merge delete VS Code. Because delete VS Code has all the commits that main has, Git automatically fast forward merges. In other words, the best way, the branch you are merging onto, if the tip of that branch is the merge base, then you can fast forward merge. Does that make sense? Yes. In other words, I tried to, one more time. I tried to, that's why I've been trying to say the word merge base. Remember, a merge base. So for these 2 commits right here, the merge base is this, right here. So in this example, this one was main, this one was add classics. So the merge base was this right here. So if classics was branched off instead of such contents, the merge base is the tip of the branch you are merging on. Therefore, there's no branch, right? It can just literally update the pointer, the end. Kind of sounds like rebasing main. No, it doesn't sound like rebasing main. That's not what rebasing does. We'll explain what rebasing does in a moment. Rebasing has nothing to do with merge. People sometimes goof that up a little bit. It's not what it does. All right. Because delete VS Code has all the commits that main has, Git automatically does a fast forward merge. It just moves the pointer of the base branch to the tip of the feature branch. That's all it does. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. We'll get to rebase here shortly. So you're just adjusting head pointers. That's pretty much what you're doing. So when you're doing a fast forward merge, you just main just now points up one, right? Assignment. Because add classics branch has been merged into main, we don't need it anymore. Delete that branch. Okay, we'll delete it. Create a new branch off of main called update titles. Let's see, add a commit to that branch that updates titles MD file and add a curious case of Benjamin Button as the final entry in the list. And then use G. Okay, we got to do a couple things here. Hold on. Let's delete, not checkout, switch that. See, I always mess that one. Update, titles. There we go. Let's just open this up and go add classic contents. What were we doing? Titles? Curious case for Benjamin Button. Is that the one we're doing? Titles MD. We're going to add the curious case of Benjamin Button. There we go. We've added it. So now we have that. And then we're going to just create a commit with G. All right. Git add this. Git commit dash G, a curious case. All right. There we go. Run one line to see what we've done here. Git log one line. You can see right here. Here is update titles. Here's main. Main's one behind. You'll notice that this would be the merge base. right? So main is currently, if I were to merge this onto main, main would also be the merge base. And that's very, very important to know. All right. So let's go in here. Let's do one of these. There we go. Does all this updating. Bada bing, bada boom. Looking good. Looking good. Confetti. Let's go. All right, so fast forward. So now what we're going to do is we have this diagram, and now all we need to do is just merge it back on. So we're going to switch to main, and we're going to merge update titles onto it, and you'll see what happens here. So git check out main. Sorry, I did check out, not switch. Git log. You'll see that I don't have G on here. If I go one line, it's probably easier to see. No G. If I go all, you'll see that G does exist only in update titles. There we go. And then we can go like this, graph, and you'll see right here that G is on the end. So it's just straight ahead. So now if I just simply merge, git merge update titles, you'll notice that it does a fast forward merge. And now notice if I go like this, git log one line, notice that this one had a branching factor. This one does not. There's no branch. There's no merge commit. And you can see by me going like this, git parents. So you'll notice that this one is a merge commit because it's merging E44 and 7A0. This one is not because it's just having its parent be one behind. Very important to know. Okay, it's a very important thing to know. People just, you know, they just don't know these things. All right, there we go. Hopefully I did everything correct and I didn't accidentally go forward. Sometimes I go forward too fast and screw everything up.
Your ex feels like Malcolm's near. Send a hit through a text, ain't no shouting here. Bypass in my